You ever get done with a song and you think it sounds awesome? Then you upload it to Spotify, or maybe you just have it on your computer sitting around somewhere, and then you start listening to it. Then you listen to other music, and you realize there's something off here. If this is your first time here, I'm Andrew Barr with Producing the Box, where I teach you how to make incredible sounding music without analog gear, and I think you are better off without it. If you've been a producer for any amount of time, you probably have heard of the term ear candy. And if you haven't, let me give you a quick rundown. Okay, so here's my elevator pitch on ear candy. It's candy for your ears. It does that little thing on the back of your brain where it like gets that little itch. That's what I'm talking about. If you're still confused, it's basically adding little different sounds and things that you probably wouldn't hear normally until they're gone. And if you just take a minute to go through Spotify, maybe on the top charts, and listen to all the ear candy that they have, maybe it's like some background vocals or ad-libs, maybe it's like even adding explosions and glass breaking to songs. I've done all of that. You would have never heard it until you point it out. And then once you point it out and you listen for it, you'll never be able to unhear it. This kind of stuff is what takes your music from sounding like a demo to a final product. Speaking of final product, if you want to get your vocals to the next level, just download my free guide called The Ultimate Guide to Recording Vocals at Home. The link will be in the description. It is absolutely free. It's my gift to you for watching my channel and for clicking subscribe if you haven't already. So now let's work on adding ear candy to your transitions to make them hit harder and sound more professional. So here you have a song, it's like pop punk style, and there is a transition in it. It sounds like this. Yeah, so there's two transitions there that kind of go into that like little instrumental part and then into the chorus. So first and foremost, let's talk about this guitar. So we have this like little breakdown here where the guy basically pulled out his guitar and then he was just singing in front of a microphone. He was just kind of coming up with some ideas, and we actually liked it so much we left it in the song. It sounds like this. I don't wanna write you off, but... And then it goes through this like little part here, and then there's this extra track, and I'll show you what that is. Just really don't give a shit. So what I did right there is I just took this last chord right here, and it sounds like this, and I just took it and reversed it and brought it back up. So let's take a listen to this little spot without the reverse guitar. So now with it back in, so I'm just raising a little bit of tension there and keeping you interested to listen to the next part of the song. Any DAW can do this. You just select the chord that you want to cut in reverse. You cut this little section, and then you create a new track and drop it down. And in Studio One, you just click Control, Shift, and R to reverse the sample. But I know in every single DAW, you have this feature. So now let's talk about this breakdown right here. There is a lot going on in this part right here. So first and foremost, let's actually take a look at these explosions or impacts that I added to this part. And let's mute the vocals so you can just hear the music and what it's doing. So now let me solo these effects. A lot of white noise and a sub bass in there as well. And it is just an impact to go into that chorus to make it hit just a little bit harder. So let's try this with and without these impacts. It's really subtle, but it makes a big difference at the end of the day, especially if you were listening to it with a good set of headphones or speakers, or maybe in your car or something with a subwoofer. You can really feel that low end kind of drop as that chorus hits. So now the third and final thing that I like to do to make my transitions sound more professional and make them hit harder is to roll off the low end. And sometimes I do this subtly. A lot of EDM music does this, and this is where I learned this trick. Right before a big EDM drop, that kick drum will kind of like slowly get thinner and thinner, and everything slowly gets thinner and thinner and thinner, and then it drops out, and then everything comes back in. If you deprive people of something and then give it back to them, it sounds like it was more than what it was before. I really exaggerated it for this part because it was just kind of cool, but it's essentially the same thing. So what I did was I added a filter on the master bus, and it's right here. So what I'm doing with that filter is I'm cutting everything off the high end. And I also cut the bass out of this section as well. So there is no low end at all. And I am rolling off the high end to create that effect. Let's listen to that one more time. Let's say I just wanted to leave that bass in the entire time. We'll add the lower guitars in there as well. See how that low end just didn't really hit the way I wanted it to? You want to deprive people of the low end and then bring it back in during the chorus drops. So right there is essentially everything you need to know to get your transitions to sound better and more professional. A lot of this stuff sounds really silly by itself, but when everything is all together in the mix, it really takes your mixes to the next level. It makes them sound way more professional than they were before. Less like a demo and more like a Spotify's top chart song. So if you want your vocals to sound more professional, download the free guide and you can just reference it anytime you're struggling with something. It really goes through everything you need to know to get great sounding vocal recordings at home. You can print it off or you can just save it to your phone and reference it anytime you need to. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Now, as always, go create.